I'm now going to remove the cutting deck from this Efco lawnmower. Before we start, you need to ensure that the keys are removed from the mower. You also need to ensure that the brake's on. I'm now just going to place some blocks of wood underneath the cutting deck. And then using this lever, I'm going to lower the deck down to the ground. That will then rest on the blocks of wood. This pulley at the back is the actual pulley that actually drives the actual blade on the machine. So we need to get that belt off that pulley. To do that, we need to pull up these rollers, which will then enable you to pull the belt off. We then just need to do that at the other side. We then need to pull out this pin. We've then got another pin underneath this linkage that needs to come out. And then lift that up. You then need to remove the spring clip and the washer from that pin there. The deck should then move, and that should come clear of that pin, like so. Now the only thing that's holding the deck to the machine is this bolt. So we now just need to undo that. In order to get this arm off the deck, we need to lift the lever that lifts the deck up. Once that is pulled back up to an high position, it will move it clear of that bolt. We now just need to remove this pin, which is for the grass chute. Once we've done that, we should be able to pull the pin straight out. I'm just going to get this linkage, and I'm actually going to cable tie it up out of the way. We can now manipulate the deck and move it clear of the machine. So you can see that it's not in very good condition. The blade is absolutely blunt as anything. I'm surprised that's even cut the grass at all. We have got quite a lot of flaking paint on there. So we're now going to give that a really good clean up, a wire brush, paint all the rusty bits and sharpen the blade. We've now reached the point of no return. I can put a spanner on there, but it just completely rounds off the actual ball. I've also tried a socket, and that won't grip it either. I've also tried the mole grips and they won't grip it. There's a last ditch attempt to get that out. I'm going to weld a nut on the top, and then that should enable us to get this off, and then we shall go and get a new bolt afterwards. And that has enabled us to remove the bolt. I'm now just going to clean off all the grass. Now we've cleaned off all the grass, you can see that we've got quite a bad split in the actual deck there, so we're going to have to fix that before we put it back on. So I've now put this on a block of wood. There's a block of wood directly under where the slit is. I'm now going to put a piece of wood on there and I'm going to knock it back flat. I've now got the majority of the loose rust off the deck. I'm now just going to clean it up using some methylated spirits. This is the final step before we apply the primer. I'm now going to prime all the rusty areas using some Rust-Oleum Direct to Rust primer. Before we refit this, I'm going to spray the belt using some belt grip. This will actually condition the belt and hopefully it will make it last longer. This kind of spray is very useful for any kinds of belts like this. It does make them last a lot longer. So I'm now just going to give this a spray. The paint on the blade is not completely dry, but it's dry enough so that we can actually get it back on. That's the reason why I'm wearing these gloves. So if you look at that now, you can see that the blade is a lot sharper than what it was when we took it off. So we're now going to refit this to the deck. This is the brand new bolt that we're going to be using. Obviously I'm going to use the original washers that I took off. Before we put this back in, I'm going to give it a coating of copper grease, which is copper anti-seize paste. Outside, as you can see, that spins freely. I'm now going to lift the front of the mower up and I'm going to slide the deck back underneath. I'm now going to locate the grass chute, and then on the inside we can reinsert the pin. We can now take the drive belt and put that back around this drive pulley. Again, we need to push up the spring part there. Until that is in. I'm now going to cut the cable tie, and then we can put that linkage back in. We can now use the lever on the machine to drop the deck down so that we can get this bolt back in position. and we can then put the nut back on there. We can then lift this side of the deck up until we locate that onto that pin and that washer. We can then place a washer on there, and then we can insert the pin. Now just have a final pin to insert. And the washer. We then just need to get the belt on the side of the pulley by pushing up that spring retainer, and then that is it. So that's how to put the deck back on. Once we've done it, we can then take the handle that adjusts the height of the deck, and we can ensure that it lifts up and down freely, which it does.